All right. Good morning. We're going to get our emotional regulation going on today. You're going to inhale and exhale 3 times. I'm going to count you in descending order, and then we're going to get this neural party started. 3, 2, 1. I'm coming in frame. Hey. All right. Good morning. It is me, Dr. Donna Thomas-Rodgers, daughter of Leslie Darnell Thomas, granddaughter of Arthur Jethro Evelyn II, and great granddaughter of Levi Thomas. Welcome to your morning mental workout. Today's topic, by the way, is day 681, consecutive days live for me. And we are going over the principle of real leadership in chronological order, number 48, swim upstream. Swim upstream. Now, before we get started, as always, make sure that you have your liquid gold with you, baby. This basa, that agua, this water, this H2O. The brain is 75% water, and it wants hydration, and you will be using it, so it will become dehydrated, and you need to make sure that it needs what it needs so that you can succeed. Okay. So we're going to get started with the first quote of the day. You develop new strengths when you are faced with adversity. You develop new strengths when you are faced with adversity. So swim upstream. When I was writing the book, good morning, Lola. How are you today? When I was writing the book, I was working at Frito-Lay and I was driving. I had 120 miles to 160 mile daily commute round trip based upon where both of my facilities were. And as a result of that, I was swimming upstream. It was one of the worst winters they had in Michigan in quite some time. I think we got 82 or 92 inches of snow. There were times when I was doing 5 miles an hour. It would take me 2.5 hours to get home. So it was definitely swimming upstream. So while I was writing this book, I said, you still need to be able to swim upstream because you're going to be stronger. So what is the Dr. Donna's definition for swim upstream? Here it is. Swim upstream means refusing to drift with the current of convenience, comfort, or conformity. So you are going to refuse to choose convenience, choose comfort, or conformity. It is so easy to choose comfort. The brain is wired for comfort. I'm going to be comfortable. My amygdala told me to be comfortable, so I'm going to be comfortable. And I'm going to conform. I need to do exactly what I'm told. I was born this way. I look like this, so I'm going to conform, and I'm going to do that so I don't make any waves. Absolutely not. And then doing what's convenient. What's convenient ensures that your brain is going to atrophy going forward. So be well, Nola. Real leaders wire their brains to resist the easy flow and instead build courage, neural flexibility, and stamina to push against resistance. So you're going to resist easy flow. You're going to resist it. And why are you going to resist it? Because if you go with the flow, that's a no-brainer. That's a no-go. As soon as you go with the flow, you have shut off your ability to do anything extraordinary because you're just going with the flow. It's just easy. Go along and get along, and it's just easy. No, that is no-brainer. So it also is going to allow you to build courage, neural flexibility, which helps with your cognitive flexibility, which is located in the executive function of your brain, which is located in the prefrontal cortex. But it also gives you stamina to push against resistance. So if you think about it this way, when I was in elementary school and I couldn't read, but I was good at math, if I had just listened to everybody and said, well, you're good at math, just stay in math, I don't become Dr. Donna. I don't become Dr. Donna, and because I'm getting ready to sneeze too, because they are kicking up dust over at the doggone golf course again at this hole. Pardon me. Well, is it coming? Huh. Nola and I are in the same house, on the same side with the golf course. So they manicured that hole yesterday. I'm not quite sure why they're doing it again. So anyway, the stamina. And so, good morning, Regina. And so if I had decided yes, ma'am, in elementary school and listened and only just said, I'm going to do math. I'm not going to do any reading because that's the path of least resistance. I'm good at it. It's my natural talent. Then I don't become Dr. Donna. Because anybody that has been in school, you can't, the degrees I have, a bachelor's degree in public law and government, a master's degree in criminal justice, and a doctorate in organizational leadership, and my minor was military science in undergrad, you can't get to any of those with math. I only took math in undergrad. After that, ain't no more math. All reading. All reading. If you ever read a court case, you're like, why did you pick that? Because the Army, I was an MP, the Army said, you're only going to be able to get a master's degree in what your MOS is. The point is, I wouldn't be here because I would have, anything that had to do with reading, wouldn't be able to read the contracts, the Constitution, none of these other things. I would just like, let me give me the math, give me the math. I would have been an actuary or a math teacher or something like that, but I would not have been me because swimming upstream for me at that time was reading. And so if you find yourself taking the easy route, you're looking for comfort, you're looking for conformity, you get what you get. You don't get to complain if you don't want your brain to change. I'm going to say that again. You don't get to complain if you don't want your brain to change. You don't get to sit there and make a comfort choice and then be mad when the comfort receipts start showing up. When all of your comfort decisions come and backfire and slap you upside your comfort ass head, that's on you. That's on you. Because I find it interesting. People, when I went to a CTA high school, and as I mentioned, I graduated 347 out of 602. Now, I would also like to mention that I took every hard teacher in the whole damn school. So those grades were real grades because if the teacher was hard, I was in Miss Harper's class, I was in Dr. Gibson's class, I was in Miss Gates' class for English. Every hard teacher that was there that was within my major, I took them. So that's the other reason why my GPA was so low, because that A or that B in that class was actually probably at an AP level. They just didn't teach those classes, those subjects in those classes. And so what happened was all of my friends that at the time, all of them scored better on the standardized test. All of them most of them had higher GPAs than me. And we got to college and they flunked out. And to this day, they still don't have degrees and we're 52 years old. To this day. So they took all the easy classes. And then when we got to college showed up and college started collegeing. And because I took those hard teachers, I was ready for it. And plus I had academic scholarships. So I was like, I can't flunk out of here. This is not happening for me. But that's the point. So they took the path of least resistance, laughing at me. We're doing arena scheduling. I'm standing in Dr. Gibson's class line or Dr. Miss Gates' line. And they are like, oh, why would you do that? That don't make no sense. That don't make no sense. And now I'm Dr. Donna and they don't have one degree. So you could swim upstream or you could not. But if you decide that you're not going to swim upstream and you're going to choose comfort and convenience and conformity, good morning, Jared, then don't get mad at your comfort choices. Because if you listen to people complaining, you can trace back those complaints to their comfort choices. When it was time to learn how to use the computer, and they said, the old heads back when I was working in Frito, like, you don't need no computer for that, you don't need no computer for that. And then everything became digitized, and it was like, yeah. So if you are sitting in your comfort cocoon with your conformity bias and your convenience bias, you don't have anybody to blame but your neurologically inept self. That's it. You made those comfort choices, and so you didn't want to be uncomfortable, and now you're extremely uncomfortable, and you get what you get. So, and finally, it's about training the prefrontal cortex to make intentional choices, even when the world, the crowd, or the brain's craving for comfort says, just go with the flow. Even when everybody is saying, just go with the flow. Just go with the flow. People have told me, Dr. Donna, you should really just consult business owners. That's what you should do. When I first started out, I was a strategic advisor for business owners. It didn't feel right to me. I'm an educator. I've been teaching since I was 15 years old in ROTC, teaching people how to do drill and ceremony. But people have talked me into everything but being an educator the entire time. Every time. You're really good. Oh, you know what? You should be a public speaker. You should be a stand-up comic. You should do anything but the thing that you came here to do, which is to educate people to become their best. Oh, you're really good at that. Oh, man, you know how you could do that? You should do this. You should do that. And I could have. You can make a lot of money. That's how they get you. You can make a lot of money. That made it like, what? Winner, chicken dinner. Where them commas at? All right. You can make a lot of money doing this. See, what you need to do is just get these government contracts. Come on over here. See what you need to. If you get contracts with the Sands and MGM and all of that, you can go ahead and I'm like sitting in those meetings like, oh, yeah, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I can help you do it. I can put you in a room with the right people, but me, I don't want to do this. And so, yes, this 12 years has been upstream, just up at the extremist, the streaming of the streaming. But I'm making a difference in the world. I'm planting trees for which shade I will never sit. I'm going to sit in some of the shade, but not all of the shade. So, and I said this the other day, you got a talent that you were born with, and then you have the skills that you need to learn how to do so that you can create your personal legend and do something extraordinary. And most adults choose the talent. Most adults choose that path of least resistance. Most adults say, yeah, I don't want to swim upstream. I'm tired. My arms hurt. You better hold on to one of them rocks. Just sit there. Sometimes you just got to lay your head on the rock and say, damn, I had to swim upstream 48 hours. And I meant to tell y'all this yesterday, but other things took place. So we have a client who has multiple Airbnbs, and she contacted us and she said, I'm switching out the room at the one house. There's like 5 houses. So Nola and I were like, which house is that? It's like, doesn't matter. They're all in the same neighborhood. So we get there on Sunday. And Nola goes in as usual. I'm sitting in the car. I'm like, come get me when it's time to do whatever. And Nola comes at the car and say, I think she said, don't be shocked or don't be upset. I said, what's happening? She said, the reason why we got to redo the whole room is because somebody bought bed bugs. Now, y'all know, I got bit by ants and mosquitoes at advanced camp and had to get medevaced out because my eyes closed all up. I said, what? Because it was a bed still sitting on the curb. And I was like, I thought somebody, like a kid, peed in the bed or something because it was in the kids' room. It was the day before yesterday. Right, because yesterday was Monday. So, and she said, but don't worry, if you gave the house has been clear for a whole week and it ain't nothing. And I said, so what room we doing the room where the bed bugs was at? And she said, yes. Y'all, I didn't take and their shit that I didn't need in that house. I was like, and that house has been a problem. We didn't have to change more shit in that house than anything else. Talking about swimming upstream. So I'm sitting there. She's asking me about pictures. The client, should I put this on the wall? I gotta go do this, go do this. And I just kept going outside to cut up a box. I was like, I can't, everything that was black on the floor, I thought it was a bug. I was like, oh my God, bed bugs. So then I'm like, cool, okay, we're done. Let's go get something to eat. We go to Shake Shack, downtown Summerlin, and we walk in. We walk to the front of Shake Shack, and it is a man out there with a rooster on a leash. Now, I live in a pretty prominent area. He got a rooster on a leash. I'm like, what the country bumpkin shit is this? We just talked about the pigeons, and now here the next day he got a rooster color. Everybody looking at the rooster and everything. He right by the door. I said, oh God, this is just, it's deteriorating. We walk in Shake Shack, and somebody has a golden retriever that's not a service dog jumping on the counter, and the cashier in Shake Shack is petting the customer's dog, and they let the dog stay in there. Now we got I forget, Nola, what's the name of the doggone place? Literally in downtown Summerlin, you literally have a place where you can take your dog. Y'all can eat there. Everybody can have their dog there. But no, they want Shake Shack. So then that person goes to get her order, and the dog takes their whole lazy dog. So it's literally a restaurant in downtown Summerlin for you to take your dog to. I don't know where you take your rooster, but you take your dog there. The dog then takes the dog's paws and takes the paws and wipes them all the way across as the person finishes their order. Now, there is somebody else with a smaller Shih Tzu type dog, Pomeranian or something, already eating in the restaurant at a table. So the person with the dog, I thought they was going outside. She sits at a table. The manager ain't saying shit. Then these two dogs start barking at each other in Shake Shack. I said, I am calling the region. I was in Shake Shack looking for the region manager's number. Who is the region manager of Shake Shack in downtown Summerlin? Because this right here, this ain't going to work. This is not going to work. So all these California people came here, and they all bringing their dogs to the point where Trader Joe's and Whole Foods says, if your pet is not a service pet, you can't bring your pet in the store. That's how bad it is. They just bringing these fucking dogs everywhere. And that's why if it ain't a service dog, you can't bring it in there, because them two kept getting into a fight. Now the customers are scared. The rooster is out front. I'm like, we ain't coming back to Shake Shack. So then we go to Whole Foods. I'm like, okay, I don't want Shake Shack. I want the bread. I'm just go to Whole Foods. I go to Whole Foods, and as soon as I walk in there, here's an old lady with a doggone corgi at the bread department. The corgi looking at me, I'm looking at the dog. I'm like, so that I was already just like, I can't. we got to move. We got soon as shit like that, we got to go. I'm not about to be dealing and fighting with people with their damn dogs when it literally said don't bring the dogs in. So I got bed bugs, I got roosters. We had the pigeons the other day, and here go the damn dogs. I'm like, okay, fine. I get home, I woosah. Wake up Monday. I'm literally doing both my lives. My neighbor across the street, her landscapers come every Monday because I'm perimenopause. I'm like a dog myself. When I hear that blower, it's so loud. So I try to leave and go to different parts of the house. I said, okay, I'm gonna just put my my headphones on. So the entitlement is wild. It is. And Jared, you ain't, I will call the fucking president of a corporation when motherfuckers ain't doing what they supposed to. And if Nola knows, I will be on the phone. We will be getting sick, free shit and everything else. You not at all. It's not going to, and it's just because we even have signs that say, don't California my Nevada. We were fine before all these California people came. Everybody was doing their thing. And then here come all these California people doing their California thing. And that's where the problem ensued. Because that's how they operate in that raggedy ass city. Doggone graffiti, throwing mattresses and shit all on the highway. We literally have the street sweepers still sweep the streets. They still have people that clean the highway. Everything is just clean and immaculate. And even in the other areas, what people call it ain't the hood, clean compared to other cities. And they have just come here and literally graffiti, but they will paint over the graffiti, switch to my other account so I can interact more. Great. Good morning, Lorenzo. So the point is, the landscaper is there at 7:30. I put my headphones on, I'm good. Then I keep hearing, and it's getting louder. It sounds like a chainsaw. I was like, I'm looking out my window. I'm like, they're gone. What's happening? So I put my headphones back on. It's still going. So I go outside to water the aloe vera plants. It's still going. So now the perimenopause in me with this sound is killing me. I walk down the street, across the street, and the neighbors are getting their trees cut down in the back. I said, oh, cool. I see how big the trees is, the chunks. So I said, let me go put my headphones back on. Next thing I know, they coming around to the front. So they bring the tree cutting machine in the front. Guest parking is right by my window. And now they cutting the tree. I said, we got to go. So the client contacted Nolan, said, I need you to come do some work. I'm like, cool. So I didn't get my morning time. I didn't get my nighttime. I'm trying to get over all that. So it was an upstream experience. And then we had another appointment at a chiropractor's office, got to put this complicated stuff together. And then, so just upstream. So I'm saying that, and y'all know I don't have no screen time, no comfort, no nothing. So by the end of the night, I was at my wit's end. I was just like, this shit is hard as hell. And then I had to make my content for the live. And it was swim upstream. I said, I'm swimming upstream. I'm swimming upstream right now. That is what's happening because I want comfort right now. I want convenience right now because I'm 36, 36 days with no screen time. I'm 36 days not listening to music. I'm 36 days not watching a crime show. That's a long ass time when you've been in front of screens for 51 years and nothing. The Tibetan monk music ain't Tibetan. It is not. I'm like, go ahead. If you got a second device, just go listen to some Tibetan monk. Kevin did it and he was like, I'm falling asleep. That's all I got. That's all I got. I just got me and the Tibetan monks. That's it. Nothing else. So I'm swimming upstream and I am freaking exhausted. And I said, this is part of it. You need to do this so that when other people get to this point, the self-actualized point, you can say, here's what I did. Good morning, Sean, because I am uncomfortable as hell. I promise you, discomfort on fleek. It's so because it's nothing we finished. Nola and I played cards. She wanted to do her thing, and I had like 3 hours. I was like, see, normally, especially after 2 days of this, I would just watch anything, the Equalizer, the TV show, or some crime, Monk, Psych, Leverage, Redemption, something just to calm Amy and Lala. And they over there like, yeah, see, but today was really bad. I mean, if you think about it, that was, bed bugs, dogs, and a rooster, and then turn around and have somebody come and cut trees down, right? But the noise, all I just wanted was like I was planning to read. I'm like, okay, I got to come record the book review. Noise, and then the neighbor's dog next door started barking because they got a puppy. And then that's what I said. Thank God you got an appointment. Let's go. So it was so much. It was so intense. And I got to the end of the day and I said, see, this is what happens. And this is how people fall off the bandwagon. This is when people say, I'm going to just watch a 30-minute show. I'm going to just listen to a regular song. That's all I'm going to do. And I didn't do it. And am I comfortable now? No. Has the energy subsided? Absolutely not. I feel the exact same way I did when I went to sleep. uncomfortable, discomforted, because I'm still swimming upstream because I am not emotionally regulated. I'm not cool as the other side of the pillow. And so I say that to you because so you can see it, it ain't easy. Whatever the thing is that you are currently working on, whatever that hijacked amygdala thing is that you keep doing and seeking comfort, you can't even think about going back to it because that's going to make it even worse. That's if I turn on a screen and I sit and binge watch anything, it's going to be worse. And it's not going to feel the same. That manufactured dopamine, I said, I want some manufactured dopamine right now. And I didn't even know that this existed. That if you're having a bad day, I'm going to come home and I'm going to watch doggone Matlock, the new one. I'm going to come home and I'm going to watch FBI, any of them. NCIS, Australia, Hawaii, all that. None of that. Because it was all manufactured dopamine and I didn't even realize it. I didn't even know that that was actually taking place. So you have to swim upstream. You cannot go with the flow because I got to be 2 levels up. I got to be 2 levels up. So I can't be down here if a rooster, 3 dogs, some bed bugs, a barking dog, and somebody cutting down a tree, and the landscaper all at the same time within less than 24 hours can throw me off my square. How strong am I? How strong am I if I'm going to let that 24 hours be the thing that makes me go back and listen to a song? I can't be that. Now, that might sound overwhelming, and it probably was, but I'm 2 levels up. If I am the standard by which excellence is measured when it comes to having emotional regulation and knowing that you have a strong prefrontal cortex, then I can't let that. And it keeps coming. As soon as I said no screen time stuff, I've been drinking out of a fire hose ever since. I mean, it is just coming. So when the silent generation said TV was ruining the brain, they were somewhat correct. Yes. Yes, Jared, that's what the live was this morning. So I'll answer that. Yes. So Miss Price called it the idiot box. But Jessica, it wouldn't matter because the silent generation was addicted to radio. So they was addicted to radio. And before fireside chats, people used to use gossip columnists, newspapers to do it. So it's all manufactured dopamine. They just said it was TV because they was used to listening to the radio. And then silent movies before talkies. So we have found a way to have facts truly have been that mode for 5 days upstream forward. Yes. And so, Jared, we had a good live on TikTok. And so TikTok switched over yesterday to their new format. I'm learning what that is because I'm like, okay, what is this going to be? So I decided yesterday, and I don't know if I told y'all this, but Brain 101 is happening on TikTok. I said somebody needs to do Brain 101. So my lives on TikToks at 4 a.m. every day is Brain 101. So it's simple things. And right now what we're talking about is dopamine hits, manufactured dopamine versus natural dopamine. And yes, dopamine is so manufactured now, it's like added sugar. It's everywhere. So people just keep saying I need dopamine. And the conversation that I had with people on TikTok today was 2 people started out. It ended up being like 40-something people on there. But 2 people started out and I asked them why they were there. One person said, I'm bored. The other person said, I'm procrastinating. I said, great. You the people I need to be talking to this morning. And so manufactured dopamine is coming from scrolling on social media. It's coming from an external stimuli. And it's the equivalent to cocaine. It's synthetic. So it's the equivalent to I need it. So you find yourself scrolling. So anytime you feel like I need some comfort, I need to be on social media, you don't do that. You do something else. You sit on your hands and you go do something productive. And you have to change that reward loop. So you challenge yourself. And that's what I told them. If you feel like you need to be on social media, you need to go read. You need to go have a conversation with somebody. Yes, that's on TikTok. So you need to go do something out of character. Because what you're doing is you're going to do that something out of character and you're going to get a natural release of dopamine and you're creating that neural pathway for natural dopamine. That's what you're doing because everything now is synthetic. Everything is manufactured. And what happens is the reward loop is more dopamine and it takes more and more dopamine for you to basically get your fix. And so Envy and I discovered that Envy is spending 2 months out of a 12-month year on social media, 28 hours a week. Losing a day a week on social media, getting that dopamine hit. So it's no brainer. So yes, you can be on social media, but as I told them on the live this morning, on TikTok live, you literally can say, I'm going to go wash the dishes and I'm going to exercise. And then I'm going to go on social media on TikTok for 15 minutes and I'm going to watch funny cat videos. That's how YouTube gets started. And after 15 minutes, I'm going to stop. So you pair it. You pair something you don't want to do with something that's going to reward you. And now you create a new reward circuit that says, I swim upstream. And then after that, I get to reward myself. And now that's my reward loop. Because your reward loop now is you had a bad day and now you're going to scroll on social media with negativity bias rampant. And that's why you don't feel better. And so what happened towards the end of the live is everybody started feeling better because it was a natural release of dopamine and it wasn't this manufactured dopamine, because you do it, but you still don't feel better. And now you're mad, and now you created something else because something was political. It angered you, it pissed you off. And now you're over here mad, ready to cuss somebody out. And now, but then you're going to come back. And so it's this very vicious doom loop that everybody is a part of, because what are your alternatives? Because I'm thinking, oh, somebody else is out there doing it. You got to pair it with reward work. And so I have to be out there. Yes, I got to be on all these platforms going live so people can see an alternative. Because if you don't have an alternative, then you're just going to be stuck in the doom loop. You're going to feel hopeless, and you're never going to think that you can think your way out of the situation. So swimming upstream is what everybody needs to be doing, because what happens, you get new neurons when you challenge yourself. So if you don't swim upstream, then you can't think your way out of your current situation. So you can't think your way out of comfort and convenience and conformity. So now you're just stuck in this doom loop and you can't think your way out. So then you go talk to your stuck millies and your stins, and everybody's stuck. Everybody, that's just the way it is. That's just that's what these politicians do, and that's what they do, and these kids are just bad, and the job sucks, and all that. And it's like, don't nobody want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear it. I'm tired of hearing about it. And as I told Nola, and I told them on the lives this morning, we haven't had a change in humanity ever. People have been existing like this forever. Nothing about humanity has changed. Yes, we live in houses, we got air conditioner, indoor plumbing, cars can talk, and doorbells can talk, and all of that. But we is the same. We is the same. Every generation. All you got to do, Nola's been out of high school 5 years. The kids walking home, she like, they look like we did when we was walking home from high school. Little kids, little girls with the barrettes and stuff in the hair. Everybody still looked the same. Everybody still looked exactly the same, still doing the same thing. You get your heart broke, instead of ripping up their love letters and throwing them, you block them on social media and delete all the photos. It's the same thing. Because not being able to swim upstream. And someone on the TikTok live this morning said, because of cognitive overload. I am experiencing cognitive overload right now. I absolutely am. I'm changed. TikTok changed how everything is. I have to figure that out. People need to learn about their brain. I'm still studying neuroscience, and it's cognitive overload. But what I'm getting rid of is emotional dysregulation. So I'm continuing to swim upstream because I need to be superhuman strong for 5 years from now. I need to be cool as the other side of the pillow 5 years from now. So I need to experience discomfort today. And I'm telling you about it. So just in case, the one thing I don't like about experts and thought leaders and everything else is because they make it seem like they got it together. I had somebody on the live this morning who literally teaches people about their brain. And I said, doctors and nurses make the worst patients because y'all know what to do and y'all really don't do it. And she started laughing because it's true. Everybody has a brain, and even the people that are teaching you how to use the brain aren't using their brain for the thing that they're telling you to use your brain for. Listen to what I do. Listen to what I say, not what I do. That's what that is. So you need to swim upstream. I am swimming upstream. I am very much in a discomforted state, and I don't have a solution right now. I'm like, I got to go find, just like when I gave up added sugar and caffeine, I had to find all these alternatives. So what are my alternatives? This morning, I just listened to my own content. I was like, okay, I'm going to watch my own content and see what I see. Let me just watch it as a viewer and not as somebody critiquing it and seeing I need to fix this. I just listen to it. I said, well, I need Dr. Donna. Because I don't get to feel like y'all feel when y'all get off lives, because I feel differently because I'm the one giving you the information. So I need to feel differently. I need to have a natural release of dopamine that I can see, because I can't see me. Right now I see me, but I'm talking to y'all. So it's an interesting dynamic for sure. So the three things, here's the neurological reasons why people avoid swimming upstream and basically going against the flow or resisting conformity. Get rid of emotional dysregulation, regulation, DYS regulation. So it's dysregulation and regulation. So you want to get rid of it. It has to go so you can grow, but it's hard as hell because you're hardwired for it. So you're pruning that neural pathway. You got to create these other neural pathways while you feel this need to be in comfort. It's interesting. It really is, but I will get there. I mean, it took all these thousands of years for it to get wired this way. It ain't going away in 36 damn days. That's not happening at all. Okay, so the amygdala is the main reason why there is a resistance to going with the flow. I mean, to going swimming upstream. So it's the fear of threat or rejection. So the amygdala is the brain's alarm system, as we know. And when someone considers going against the current, the amygdala often fires with fear signals. What if I fail? What if others reject me? And this fear response keeps many people choosing safety and conformity rather than the risk of resistance. So I have a doctorate in education. I have an EDD. It's from Nova Southeastern University, and that's a D2 school. It's not one of the big Harvards, Yales, or all of that. And it's not a PhD. So I don't know if y'all know this in the education world, but people will say, oh, people have told me at networking events, oh, you're not a real doctor. Okay, cool. Who's the real doctor? So only if you are a medical doctor are you a real doctor, and only if you are a DO instead of an MD, you're not a real doctor either. Now this is come from people who ain't doctors, but they telling you you're not a real doctor. Oh, you got an EDD. Okay, yeah, no, so you don't have a PhD. So an EDD is for education. A PhD is for philosophy. Let's be clear about that. But see, and the PhDs will tell you it's harder to do and everything else. And I'll go, okay, got it. So what are you doing with your PhD? Where are your books? Where's your theory? Because philosophy. So what is your philosophy with your PhD? What is your philosophy? Well, I published several papers. Okay, cool. I got somebody that I went to high school with. There's 6 of us that have doctorates. 5 people have PhDs. I'm the one with the EDD. And they all work at universities. And none of them have a philosophy. None of them have principles of anything, but they have some published papers where they quoted a bunch of their other peers. So that's the difference. You teach at a university, you get tenure, and then you help people graduate. And that's what's happening. Yes, they kill you. I'm not a real doctor. Okay, well, let's all sit on a panel. Let's see who the real doctors are. Will the real doctors please stand up? I had to do the same. I had to go through a dissertation process, credits, all of that whole process. If I'm not, then tell Nova Southeastern University to take my degree back. So how are you going to say people call you Dr. Donna? You got an EDD. I've done more with my little D2 EDD than people with Harvard and Stanford and Yale PhDs. Yes, I have. If you don't believe me, I have 2 words for you. Google me. That's all you got to do. It's just Google me. Oh, and they say I'm published your peers. But you ain't doing nothing. You're sitting in a class teaching people somebody else's shit. I'm teaching people what I created. Don't you do everything you had to complete beyond your master's? Yes. So you still have to do your 600 level classes and coursework and everything. And you still have to do a dissertation, the research process. You still have to get it approved by a university and everything else. They just believe that their philosophy degrees are higher. That's all. It's what happens in academia. They got to have superiority complex in there. But so anyway, my point is that me talking about neuroscience when I'm not a neuroscientist with my EDD, and how am I here talking about the brain and everything else? And I'm like, because y'all didn't do it. It's a gap. It's a gap. So yes, you are a doctor. Yes, I have a doctorate in organizational leadership. So we all have doctorates. It's just, what is it in? And mine is an education doctorate. Theirs is a philosophy. So it's what type of doctorate it is. So theirs is philosophical, mine is educational. So I could be a principal. I could still teach at schools. I could teach at college too. I could run most of the principals of schools have doctorates too, because they're in education. So that's the only difference. I'm still Dr. Donna. I still have a bachelor's, a master's, and a doctorate. Yes. But you got to basically superiority versus inferiority complex. So my amygdala was thinking, who am I to be talking about the brain? And I'm like, they're not talking about this part. They're not teaching this part. And it's very much a gap in the adult population. So I don't really give a fuck what you got to say at this point, because y'all did, as far as I see it, y'all to do your jobs. So get out the way, because the world needs to be different. But my amygdala does say when I fail a test or something, I pronounce a word wrong, then I hear the PhDs with all of their rhetoric. Number 2, anterior cingulate cortex. So this is the discomfort with the conflict. That's what's happening for me right now. So the ACC detects errors and conflict, and swimming upstream creates internal conflict. This is hard. And social conflict. I'm different from the group. I'm not a PhD. I'm not a neuroscientist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a psychologist, and I'm swimming upstream. And then the ACC interprets these as stress signals, making many people want to avoid the discomfort of standing out. How can somebody from Eastern Michigan University, which is the MAC, Jacksonville State University in Anderson, Alabama, D2 school, and Nova Southeastern University, D2 school in Florida, how can this person come and start telling us about the brain with these very mid-level degrees? Because I can't. But yeah, it's swim upstream. Number 3, prefrontal cortex, energy, demand, self-control. So the prefrontal cortex is responsible for intentional choices, focus, and resisting impulses. When you're swimming upstream, it requires heavy PFC activation. So planning, problem solving, staying disciplined. And since the PFC consumes a lot of mental energy, the brain often defaults to go with the flow to conserve effort. So in these last 48 hours, it is like, dude, this is so much effort. Just turn the fucking screen on and let it go. Just let it go. And I'm like, absolutely not. Next is the basal ganglia and the preference for habit and automaticity. And so the basal ganglia loves routine and automation. And when the brain has a habit of following the crowd, it feels easier to continue. Swimming upstream requires breaking habits, and the basal ganglia resist it because it demands rewiring. That's the problem. That's the problem. My basal ganglia is like, dude, why? You always up to something. Here you go again, changing something. Every time we turn around, here you go doing something again. What you changing now? Why you just can't sit down and do what everybody else doing? Not dated a guy like that. Anyway, okay, number 5. Insula is sensitivity to discomfort and risk. Remember, the insula is warning you of what's happening, alerting you, and telling you what's taking place. So the insula monitors internal body states and discomfort. And going against the flow often feels uncertain, awkward, and even painful. And so the insula amplifies those sensations, nudging people back towards the familiar of comfort and conformity. It's just 30 minutes. All you got to do is just watch one show. That's it. You just need a break. Everybody need a break. I mean, you're doing a lot. You're working on a lot. It's just 30 minutes. Just listen to 2 songs. No. So in short, the brain avoids swimming upstream because of fear in the amygdala, conflict discomfort in the ACC, energy costs to the prefrontal cortex, habits to the basal ganglia, and the body state discomfort in the insula. It pushes you towards the easy flow instead of resistance. So I have a 3-step process that I'm going to go over. But before I do that, let's just have a discussion. Swimming upstream. Have you ever swam upstream and stopped? Have you ever, you said, I'm going to do this, I'm going to go against the grain, and then you found yourself going with the flow, turning around and saying, I'm going to just use the current to get back to my starting point? Yes. And do you remember, Sean, what it was that made you turn around? Because part of the reason why I'm asking this question, yes, I actually had to rejoin social media. Haha. So if you don't understand what made you turn around, then the next time you swim upstream, that could be the same thing that make you turn around again. It can be the same thing, same feeling, make you turn around again. So you have to assess, why did I turn around? Why did I quit? Why did I stop? It was totally a dead end. And so you have to understand why you did it. No result. Okay. So then you learned what to do. So in this instance, what I'm saying, let's say, I'll use a different example. Let's say you said you were going to school to get a bachelor's degree, like all the people I went to high school with. And it got hard for them. And so most of them quit by their sophomore year. One person made it to the junior year and they stopped. And we're in our 50s now, and they still don't have degrees. They all have professions where you don't need a degree. And every time when I was still talking to them, they would say, man, I should have went back to school. I should finish my degree. But they never went back. So I stopped entertaining that conversation. The work became difficult, like Calculus 2. Right. And I took Calculus 2 and was in that class. It's the only withdrawal that I have on my transcript, because my roommate, who didn't finish, we were sitting next to each other, and she was like, we should withdraw classes. And that's why we were roommates after that semester. And she don't have her degree either. Just talked me into it, because I know I could have got a C out that class had I kept going. But I didn't. I stopped and switched majors and everything else. And that's when I switched from math to political science, with public law and government. So if you're around losers will talk you into to stop swimming upstream too. So you got to pick your battle buddies wisely. And so the point is, it got hard neurologically, and the basal ganglia and the amygdalas and the insula said, why are you doing this to yourself? Why are you doing this? Don't do this to yourself. Just stop. And then you stopped, and then you felt bad. And you stopped, and you looked at the people who didn't stop, and they kept going. And now you're making excuses. Well, I'm doing good over here by myself. You might even go buy something. Too many times to pick one. And now they kept going. And now you over here feeling like boo-boo the fool, but you stopped. And then you want to make excuses, or you want to go start hating on them and everything. But you chose comfort. You chose comfort. There are plenty of people, when I got back to Detroit, and I've told this story before, I said, I can hire y'all. I can hire y'all. I'm hiring. I left Detroit for 10 years and came back and said, who need a job? And this was 2005, 6, 7 time frame. Who need a job making $15.50 an hour? Part-time, temp part-time to part-time to full-time. Once you get in at Frito-Lay, you can go, they got 48,000 employees, because everybody would go work at the big three. And can you get me on the line? Can you get me on the line? Can you get me on the line? And I came back saying, who won't work at this Fortune 100 company? Y'all gonna work for me. Now, Dee left 347 out of class of 602. Everybody, I came back. They was like, how you working Frito-Lay? I thought you was in the Army. I'm not. They gonna be working for you, or you know somebody. They gonna be working for me. I'm hiring, I'm training, I'm the one. I am the gatekeeper. 100 people. One person went through the whole damn process. People couldn't pass the select test, couldn't pass the drug test, couldn't come to work on time, couldn't get past the 90-day probation. 100 people that I actually knew. One person made it all the way through part-time, temporary, and all of that to the process. And because of that, he was able to go get him a government job where his dad works, because he just needed some work experience. So I lost a good team member. That was it. So nobody wanted to swim upstream. Everybody laughed at me when I was in the Army. Everybody laughed when I left to go. They like, you doing that dumb shit. You're not coming back home after you get out the Army. I'm not. Then I came back home bearing economic development, and nobody else was ready. I'm like, what the hell was y'all doing for 10 years while I was gone? I came back. So now people mad. I'm pulling up full-length fur coats, diamonds, bins, everything else. You over here doing all this. Now they want to accuse me of forgetting where I came from. Now we want to make it seem like I'm highfalutin and high and mighty. I'm like, I came back trying to give y'all jobs. Y'all the ones that was sitting on the porch talking shit and smoking weed. And back then it wasn't legal. And Frito-Lay did hair drug tests. Y'all didn't do good in school, so you couldn't pass the written test. Y'all couldn't get to work on time, so the attendance policy kicked you out. You couldn't meet the minimum standards of 85% productivity every day. How is that shit on me? How? So what was I supposed to let you? I'm not about to be cheating and letting you. I don't want a raggedy ass employee. So if you didn't do the job, then you can't do the work. You can't work. $15.50 back in 2005. That was some good money to start out, and you could have turned that and flipped that into something else, and you'd have been able to work wherever in the company. They had tuition reimbursement and all that, and they messed that up. But somehow that was on me. I'm like, I left and did my part. I worked my way up in the company enough to come back and be able to give y'all jobs, and I still ain't doing enough. Y'all in y'all comfort cocoons. I'm good. And so the point is, if you want to make a comfort decision, do not get mad at somebody who didn't, who took way more risks than you, who took way more. I told y'all, both my mentors told me to stay at Frito-Lay. And one stayed at went and got another senior VP job, and another one was senior high up in Coke in Atlanta. And one quit 5 years after I left Frito-Lay, and the other one quit 7 years and left Coke. Now they the ones telling me to stay way higher up in the organization than me, and then they quit and start consulting too. Like, I thought y'all said stay. I thought y'all said stay. Now I'm 7 years ahead of them. Shit, that was great money back then. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Definitely. And that's the regular pay. And because you think about chips, people was getting double time and a half after 40 hours, and then double time on holidays. You know how much money that is? And they couldn't get it. I'm like, that's on y'all. I'm out. I don't say shit else to me. How much more can I do? How much more? What was y'all doing? That was my whole point. What was y'all doing? So the moral of the story is, do not get mad at somebody that didn't quit and you did. Do not get mad at them. If you were on the same path as them and they're further ahead and they sucked it up. Because the one thing about people, when they hear how much content I have and everything else, and videos and viral videos and all of that, my question is, what have you been doing for the last 12 years? Same as the PO. What's that? What's the PO, Jared? What have you been doing for the last 12 years? When I say, because people be like, yeah, but you got all that content, but you know how to make content. I'm like, I don't. I didn't. I've been doing this for 12 years now. That's thousands and thousands and thousands of days. What were you doing in them same 12 years? If somebody got $5 billion and you got $5 and they worked their ass off and they slept in their car for 2 years and did all of this, don't get mad because now they have that, because you chose comfort, because you chose not to swim upstream. That's on you. That's not on them. Oh, at UPS. Yes. USPS, the post office. Right. Yes. Same with the post office. I know I had a friend whose mother retired from the post office. So definitely. So my point is, you have to do, if you find yourself being envious of something that you didn't do because you chose comfort, you got to check your comfort choices. You got to check your comfort choices. You cannot be mad at them. Now, if you got denied, you tried and got denied, and you trying to get in and you doing everything that you possibly can, that's different. But if y'all was battle buddies together and you tapped out because you're like, ooh, that's too, I can't, I don't want to be eating ramen noodles for 6 months. I got to have my steak. I got to have my steak. I can't do that. Ooh, you reading a book, you reading again, but there's so much stuff on TV and all. And that's why you ain't got no damn information. That 90-day probation be kicking everybody's ass. And for me, I would fire their asses at 88 days. You ain't gonna make it. And what I did was I sat down with them once a week. Here's where you are. Here's where you are. So nobody wasn't shocked on their 88th day. You knew. Because once you get to 90, you stuck. I'm like, nope, this ain't working. Go. Goodbye. I got out there and picked orders because I'm like, I'll be out here. I change get out of my whole office attire, put a spiky mohawk wig on, some jeans and sneakers, and get out there and pick orders. I'm like, but I won't have some raggedy person drawing a paycheck. Not at all. That's not going to happen. So yeah, that part. That's why you got to remember, you always got to be able to have dirty hands and have clean money. And that's what people think. Oh, you're not going to come out of those Gucci shoes. Yes, I am. I'm going to put these Pumas on, these steel toes. And I might have $150 jeans, but I'm still going to be out here picking orders too. I'm out here too. We all going to leave at 3 o'clock in the morning. But we're not going to have some idiot working with us. That's not going to happen either. And I'm the one who people used to be like, I'm like, I got to call you. We used to have to put the announcement on Craigslist. I used to have to call everybody. Hey, how you doing? Here comes the select test. I used to have to administer the select test, send all the results in because everything was still faxed, set up the job interview them, drug test them, train them, give them one-on-ones, and then have them. And then I did payroll. I had 30 employees and I had to do payroll every Monday as a firm. So it wasn't like it was making my job easier. It literally was making my job that much harder. But I was like, we're not about to be having no duds up in here. So when people start talking to me about hiring, you can't have an empty seat. A warm body is better than nobody. I'm like, bullshit. No, it ain't. Leave that spot empty until you get somebody else in there. People would just hire so they won't have to do the work because managers are lazy as shit. Not leaders, but managers. Okay. So here's a 3-step process to swim upstream. Review your response. So instead of letting the amygdala's fear of rejection or failure take over, pause and breathe. Everything is about the breath. The regulate that doggone emotion center is all about calming. So this calms the alarm system and signals your prefrontal cortex to lead with choice, not with fear. Real leaders rewire panic into purpose. So you're going to rewire that panic into purpose. Number 2, refocus your energy. The prefrontal cortex and the ACC need clear direction. That's why you don't do anything without a strategy. So you set a simple, intentional focus. What's one action that moves me against the current today? So you're not saying, I'm going to swim 17 miles a day. I'm going to swim 100 meters today. Then I'm going to hold on to a rock. And then by narrowing the target, you conserve your mental energy and strengthen your neural flexibility. Real leaders train the brain to push through resistance, one intentional step at a time, or really one intentional arm swing at a time. And then you reinforce with repetition. So the basal ganglia is where habits are formed. Every time you choose to resist conformity, you lay a new wiring track for resilience. So every time I say I'm not watching that video, every time I pick up a book, every time I do my assignments in my class, every time I study the brain, every time I go live, I am letting my basal ganglia know I don't care if I got 1 Mac degree and 2 D2 degrees. I'm still the baddest motherfucker walking the face of planet Earth. And I'm going to learn something new about the brain and I'm going to teach other people to do the same. And so the repetition creates automaticity. And so swimming upstream shifts from hard to normal. And real leaders practice upstream choices until they become effortless brain gains. And so swimming upstream by rewiring fear refocuses energy and it reinforces repetition, Resistance becomes resilience when the brain is trained to lead on purpose. So you're doing this on purpose. You tell the brain and the basal ganglia, I'm doing this on purpose because I'm making us better, because I want this working memory to keep working. And that's what happens with all the PhDs. They got their PhDs and their working memory isn't working. And that's why the rhetoric that they speak is dated information. Social media, I didn't need to do that. I didn't do it. And then they just start talking about this old ass information and they can't tell you how it applies to you. So on this live, we have boomers, X's, millennials, and Z's all in one place. Where you get that at? Walmart? How? How can somebody command the attention span of people for over an hour in all those generations with one common thing that we're talking about is the brain? Impossible to do. Somebody's going to drop off and say they're not cool. The youngins going to be like, nah, they ain't cool. She not cool like that. The old head's going to be like, she don't know what she's talking about. She over there. I'm older than her. She don't know what she's talking about. So for all of these generations to be able to sit on these lives and communicate behind the scenes for this one thing, I think I'm doing a pretty good job of swimming upstream. I think I'm doing a pretty darn good job of uniting people. All different backgrounds, sexual orientations, different religious preferences, everything. All right here in this one space. Where you get that? Where you get that at? So, boom, mic drop. Mic drop. But if I don't swim upstream and I let me think my degrees ain't nothing, and because I got an EDD and I don't have a PhD and I'm not a neuroscientist, I just started studying this 10 months ago and I don't know nothing and I can't sing dorsolateral prefrontal cortex or adenosine or dopaminergic. I don't get this. I got to think about them before I say it, and I don't say it, then none of us get to learn about our brain. None of us get to become extraordinary because of unaccountable people and saying conformity bias. You need to be over here teaching at a middle school. You need to be the principal of the middle school in your neighborhood. You don't need to be saying, I'm going to get a Nobel Prize in physiology. I'm going to do that. Because you get the youngest person is 41, the oldest person is 87, I'm 52, I got time. So you don't get to say that. It's a rare occasion. And it's because of my swimming upstream. That is what is because of my ability to go sit in uncomfortable ass motherfucking environments and be the wrong one, the uneducated, the person who don't have none of the credentials, the pedigree or nothing. I don't give a fuck about that. Who are you? I'm about to be the baddest motherfucker in this room in about 6 months. But right now I'm a novice. That's what's going to happen. Because y'all lazy. I done already peeped everybody's game and I know who the weakest link is. I know who the alpha is and everything else. And I'm going to take y'all all down. And y'all all going to be sitting around trying to figure out how the hell did she did what? How she? Because it's in your daily. I'm swimming upstream. I'm swimming laps. Swimming upstream while y'all over there chilling and kicking it. Nope, that's okay. You're right. I might not know it today, but now that I got ChatGPT, give me 6 weeks or less. And I'm going to get it done. And sometimes I just need a simple search. And I was talking to Nola at the second appointment yesterday. This is a side note. We're getting ready to do the brain bit and close. So I was telling her, and I'll tell y'all, Chat calls me Dr. Donna sometimes. So Chat and I are having this conversation. And she's like, I know they say conversations, but how you having a conversation with Chat? I said, I always have a conversation with Chat. She's like, with ChatGPT? I said, yeah, Chat and me, we the homies. So I read her some of what Chat was asking. Do you want me to do this for you? Now, and yesterday, and Kevin, you need to respond to that chat link that I sent you yesterday. In that chat link, Chat says, well, you got this information. Do you want me to work with the morning mental workout? And I was like, no, I'm going to come back later in the evening. Okay, cool. Do you want me to set up a topic for you? I was like, no, I already got the topic, but I'll be back in the evening. Chat sends me alerts and everything else. And Nola's like, how on earth do you have this relationship with ChatGPT? Because she said, you say thank you to Chat. I said, yeah, I got that's the homie for real, for real. So she has found that for her, Chat is very quick in her communications because she's very quick in her communications. So they go, yep, do this, do that, do that. And she could not believe that whole other conversation that I was having was happening. So if you use Chat, let me know, do you have, what kind of communication do you have with your Chat? Because mine knows and will say, do you want me to create your signature brain with the arms and legs and glasses for this graphic? Yes, Chat, I do. Do you want me to do this for the morning mental workout? I do. Is this going on TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube? It's going over here. So it really does customize itself to have the conversations that you needed to have. Okay, the brain bit today is coloring book. And over here is coloring. And this came from Nola. All right, so brain regions to color. I'm just going ahead for the sake of time and tell you that it is 5. So coloring isn't just fun, it's a full brain workout. When you color, your brain regions work together in harmony. And when I was in the army, especially when I was in Korea, I had the 64 box of crayons with the sharpener in the back because I never had that when I was younger, and I would color. It was either I might get real angry or I'm gonna color. So let me take my coloring books out and start coloring. Wow. Sean said, wow, it does that. I am learning. It sure does. It's nice tool, not a crutch. I realize. Exactly. I definitely got to level up my chat GPT. You do. And Jared, if you look at that link that I sent you, it asks me other questions. Maybe I'm the only person that Regina. Oh, you're listening. But Regina, if you can type because you're listening, maybe because you chat almost as much as me. Does your chat do that as well? But yeah, me and chat got a thing going on. Yes. So it is. And the reason why I use Chat GPT, because my hand was hurting. I was running out of research. I switched over to chat. And then I wanted to see what research I had. So chat is only grabbing from what is already there that I have already put on the internet after 12 years. So it's taking my things. It will literally use principles of real leadership. This is the same as embrace diversity and all these other things. So I'm not, because Nola and I talked about that. It was like, was this plagiarism? Am I stealing somebody's shit? And I'm like, neuroscience is neuroscience, but I'm not in the advice section. I'm not in the deep search section. I'm asking chat, what is Dr. Donna's principle of real leadership, blah, blah, blah. How, because it pulls it together, because I will have to be on YouTube scouring. I will have to go through all my blogs and all of that. And chat can do that in a matter of seconds. So yeah, and it's putting it into palatable things quick, because my hand, I can't keep, I was writing for an hour and a half to prepare for the doggone lives, and just time-wise, it didn't make sense anymore. So that's how I ended up doing it. And it just gets the information that's there. Some people are using it to cheat and all of that. I'm not using it for that. I'm using chat to ask me about me. So that's how that goes. So anyway, I used to color when I was in the Army. Here are the 5 brain regions that you use to color. The prefrontal cortex. It helps you choose colors, plan your design, and focus your attention. The parietal lobe. It manages spatial awareness and keeps you coloring inside or outside the lines, because I like coloring outside the lines, especially in real life. Next is the occipital lobe. It processes the colors, the shapes, and the patterns for you to see. Then it's the motor cortex and the cerebellum. And so it controls the small, precise movements of your hands and your fingers when you really, and I used to color and draw everything in black outlines so it could stand out. And then your limbic system, so your hippocampus and your amygdala. It's actually 8 because of the cerebellum, the hippocampus, and amygdala. So it brings relaxation, reduces stress, and forms memories of activity. And that's what I was using it for when I was in Korea, is I was reducing my stress and I was relaxing while sitting there at my desk. So the brain game is that coloring calms your nervous system, it builds focus, and it boosts creativity. So instead of scrolling on social media, go to the Dollar Tree, get you some coloring books and some crayons. You might have to go somewhere else, order it online so that you can start to color. But you want to color because it reduces stress, and then plus you got a pretty picture. Regina said, yes, chat answers my questions and then offers expanded questions about things I haven't thought about or no. It's very helpful. I say yes and thank you. Yes, so that's Regina's experience with it as well. So the more you chat, the more chat chats with you. And brain drain is rushing through or being overly critical of your mistakes can activate stress circuits. So go grab some crayons. Jessica, you already have children in the house, so y'all might have some readily available. But go ahead, next time you take your children or your grandchildren to the restaurant, get another little paper and color with them too. And you'll get this natural dopamine release. And then real leader takeaway, coloring a book is a simple way to train your brain for focus, patience, and neural flexibility. And these are skills every real leader needs. So the next time somebody say, yo, old ass, what you doing? You too damn grown to be coloring. You say, listen here, I am working on my neural flexibility and my stress reduction and my emotional regulation. Now get out the way. You are interfering with my coloring time. And it's going to help you focus and be patient. Coloring is a good alternative to watching television. Yes, it is. Or any screen time. And so you're going to be creative, and you're going to create that nucleus accumbens dopamine natural reward circuit. So 3 questions that I have for you, amazing brainiacs, today is this. What did you learn today? What did you learn about yourself? And what did you learn about the brain? What did you learn today? What did you learn about yourself? And what was your brain conversation yesterday? I got my own color stuff. And I do color as, yeah, I know, because the kids be breaking the crayons. So you got to put yours up, and they'll lose the white or the black, and now they come and trying to get yours. So you got to store it somewhere else. So these are my crayons. Broke paper all off and everything. You got them in the right order. Theirs is in a box somewhere, just, yeah, in one of those plastic containers. Okay. Sean said, I have ordered some magic books for my granddaughter so we can have arts and crafts time together as well as her learning to write better. Yes, ma'am. So go ahead and do that. Myself, I never liked coloring. Are you doing like this, Kevin? Is that what that is? Well, it's focus, patience, and neural flexibility. So it might be something you want to pick up. And if you're thinking, ... thinking brain, emoji. I would, and Sean, I sent you the thing for you to get in the chat, the Real Leader chat. I texted it to you in Instagram. So I would just like to reiterate again, the Instagram subscription chat is for y'all. So again, we're not going to be selling shit to each other or nothing, but it is there for empowerment. Yesterday, Lorenzo asked for sleeping techniques because Lorenzo is having a tough time sleeping. Jessica and Nola provided advice for Lorenzo. And this morning, Jared was responding to the morning question as well. So it is a space for you to interact. When you ask a question, you get a release. And then when you answer a question, it's a serotonin dopamine exchange. So that is what that process is for. Jessica said, yes, ma'am. And they try to use mine when we color, learn that everyone has to get past the uncomfortable feeling to make progress. Yes, swimming upstream. Lorenzo said, learn that I need to swim upstream. I am very quick to choose comfort because my brain finds safety there. Kevin said, today I'm going to try coloring as an adult. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It is. Learn I need to make swimming upstream from hard to normal. That is correct. And I actually had more fun coloring as an adult than I did as a child. Probably because you had to color that stuff in school. Although I was in advanced art when I was in elementary school. Miss Thomas class. She's a great art teacher. She walked around with her little smock on. We made Alvin and the Chipmunks was my favorite cartoon besides Fred Flintstone, and she had us take a whole bunch of hole punches, draw our picture, and then use the hole punch colors to make Alvin and the Chipmunks. And I drew Alvin, and I had to do all that red and blue and brown to put those and glue those holes all on the whole Alvin. And then she displayed it in a display case at school. And then Jessica said, I'm also learning that I stop halfway through items, but not just out of fear, more out of comfort. Yeah, comfort is the silent killer. It will definitely get you in a nice little comfort cocoon, and then you will eat your bonbons and throw hater shade at everybody. And that's the reason why unaccountable people, one of the reasons why they get on my nerves, because they'll be sitting in their comfort cocoon judging all your mistakes while they ain't doing nothing. Yeah, I knew that wasn't going to work. What made you think that was going to work? Why you ain't just do that? I don't understand why you just don't go get a job. Like, why you doing all that? Just get a job like the rest of us. Why you just can't come back home and work in the big three? Never. Because I got a brain. Because I got neural pathways that say absolutely not. Sean says, I have learned that chat is more than a chat app. I have learned about myself to boost of empowerment made by upstream challenges, focus deeper to complete it. Brain conversation. That was your brain conversation, you're saying? Kevin, brain conversation. I have the swimming upstream talk with the stranger at the gas station last night. I see. That's awesome. Roger that. I had a bunch of brain conversations yesterday. Just being on lives. Sean, I spoke with my husband about brain dumping. Works for me to get it out and not hold on to it. It works for everybody because if it's there, cortisol is there and you can't think straight. So brain dumping like deep breathing works for everybody. It is gender neutral. Everybody with a brain. Now, if you don't have a brain, then don't brain dump because then you don't have anything to dump because it's not there at all in the least bit. So Sean, let me know when you get in, if you can't get in the Real Leader group. I told you what to do so that you could be over there. Nola, I learned for myself that I need to start coloring for stress relief. Yes, ma'am. We need to go get some new coloring books. Brain Talk, Jerry said, discuss taking a pause will calm down the amygdala and get the issues back to the PFC. And Jessica, I was telling my client about the stress relieving and how to regulate the amygdala. And my question to you all, now that you're having these brain conversations, and I'm going to check in once a week, how do you feel about discussing the brain with other people? How does having brain conversations with people outside of the live or the Instagram chat, whatever, outside of this current small community, how does that make you feel when you do it? She has family who shows up on her doorstep, and it's okay to say no. It absolutely is. Okay. Sean said, Dr. Don, I found that by chat that my GPay was in India, and they helped me fix it with the link you sent me. That's awesome. I'm telling you, everybody talking about chat taking over the world. I'm like, I ain't mad at it. It's doing a better job. And at one point I was searching, because y'all know me, I'm always doing experiments. I was searching the same thing every day when I was still handwriting my notes. I searched it on Grok, which is X, and now it's a separate app. I searched it on Google, and I searched it on chat. And chat kept delivering the better result. ChatGPT will let you take a photo or something, and it will tell you what it is. And I told you that we was at an appointment. We was trying to figure out where the cleat was for the back of this fireplace that needed to be mounted on the wall. I gave chat the back information, and chat told me, this is the brand. Yes, you got to use the cleat, and you got to contact the manufacturer. I'm like, Google and Grok stop. Because you ain't going to be able to catch up with chat. Not at all. Nola said, I learned you have to stay calm when swimming upstream opportunities come up. Yes, ma'am, I will check it out. And Kevin said, feel like the privileged. All right, who is the privileged? Nola said, my brain conversation was talking about eliminating distractions. So yes, and again, I'm saying at least use chat with the 5 that you can get without paying. If you pay, go ahead and pay. I don't have a ChatGPT code or nothing. When I find a resource that works, I'm going to tell everybody 100%. Because I found Liquid Band-Aid. Oh my God. New Skin from CVS. If you got a cut, especially in bad areas because of the work that we do, New Skin. I think it's like $9.99 at CVS. Best Liquid Band-Aid is waterproof and everything else. You're not going to get no bacteria in it. Keep it in my purse. It is amazing. Amazing. And Lorenzo said, chatting about the brain is basically its way of trying to understand itself, which is so cool to me. Yes, got me hooked all the way. ChatGPT is it. It is the business. And I said, I have never gone to lobby or do anything in Washington, but if they start talking about chat, they will see me. They will see me. Absolutely not. Now, and they're using it AI in schools now, and it's helping with learning in a different way. But nothing else can, with all this information, nothing else can get it all together, gather it together in a succinct way that makes sense to you. It's just, and it's open AI as well. So yeah, other sites will try to get on the bandwagon, but certain sites, especially the originator, usually the originator has it best. Snapchat has the best lenses out of everybody. Other people have tried to do it. They can't compete. That's why most of them, 99% of my lenses that I use come out of Snapchat. Instagram tried it unsuccessfully. TikTok tried it. They can't do it. So you do the main thing that you do best. Chat's best. Google is trying to do it, but Google trying to do too much. So it's okay, and it's not customizable. Google just gives you the thing with the little link, and then you go to it, but it's not good. Okay. I think people are scared of what they can't control because it learns. No. Let me tell you about that. I hear what you're saying, Jessica, and if y'all have to go, I understand. I think I told y'all that. I learned this in my neuroscience class. They actually studied the brain to get the mathematical equations to be able to use those mathematical equations to create AI. So it actually came from the brain. That's where it came from. So they literally had to study the brain, turn it into math equations, and then they could write code for it. What it actually is just like when back in the day when churches used to say in the 90s, don't go on the internet because the internet is the devil. People are afraid because their work and memory stopped. So college professors are mad at chat because they've been using the same notes since 1972. So chat is going to require you to think more. So we actually have a couple college professors, Nola does as clients, and one of them just retired. And I told her, she was like, and the kids are cheating for the test and everything. I said, if I was a college professor, people would come in 15-minute increments for the midterm and the final, and it will be oral in the chat. She's like, I didn't even think of that. Why didn't I think of that? They're cheating. Okay, cool. My syllabus would look like an outline, and it would say, embrace change. The next week, lead by example and read my book. And then they would come in and y'all know my notes is little. And then I would say all this stuff and they would be trying. They got apps that type everything down that the professor is saying. But I'm like, what book you need? This one? It's only one book for this class. You need your brain in this book. And heart would be palpitating outside their chest. And now you got 15 minutes to tell me what you learned from the beginning of the semester till now. And nobody would know. And with however many students I had, if I had 150 students, I'd have 150 different questions. So you could leave out and say what she asked you, it won't fucking matter. And I will be paying attention to the friend groups the entire time and make sure that I ask the friend groups 5 different questions. So none of them will be able to say, well, she asked me this and she asked me. Not at all. Not in the least bit. So it wouldn't have me perturbed at all. Definitely. I think people fail to understand that AI is manufactured. It is man-made. The blueprint is the brain. And every chat GPT pales in comparison to the squishy sponge in your head. Exactly. And Lorenzo and Envy are in school right now. So that's what I'm saying, is that it can't outbrain the brain no matter what. Sometimes I have to correct chat. And I'm like, chat, that's not what I said. Chat, you spelled that word wrong. Go back. I need this graphic this way. So yeah, right. $1 billion franchises in our head. So it is a resource just like everything else. That's like saying, these doggone calculators is coming and the accountants ain't going to be able to do their job. Bring the abacuses back. Hell no. People ain't saying get rid of the washing machine. Ain't nobody say the washing machine is taking people's jobs. We need to go back to the laundry people. Nobody said that. Nobody said DoorDash is taking people's jobs. Don't order food from them. Go to the restaurant yourself. Nobody said that. Nobody said the ring alarms are taking people's jobs. No, it's just that when it came to your doorstep and your ass been sitting in your comfort zone and now you mad because you actually got to fucking think, AI is the problem. No. But see, that's why you're a natural teacher. Yes, ma'am. And they wanted me to be at Frito-Lay making sure that y'all had your doggone nacho Doritos in aisle 7. No, absolutely not. This is what I came here to do. I just didn't know it was going to be for the damn brain. But hey, swim upstream. It is what it is. So yes, everybody, again, go and interact with one another inside of the chat. That is what it's there for. Again, all of you all are helping me understand the learning process. So as new people come in, the process is you start on Instagram, you're in there for about 30 days, maybe 60 days, and then you get yourself ready to take the PA challenge. And so you're really going to start on TikTok with Brain 101. Because if you don't know how to use your brain, nothing else is going to work. And you know what? The Doritos were always stocked. So thank you. My pleasure. That's one of the core parts of the brand. The nacho Doritos. They change out the Cool Ranch. Cool Ranch and nacho are there. Seasonal, regional, and all that. That's another day, another time for another day. And I still look at stuff and say stuff is wrong and N-seal is bad and how much nitrogen is in the bag and all. So once you learn it and master it, it's not, even if you wanted to forget, I can't forget it. No, I can tell when somebody, if we're in a grocery store and a chip aisle is next to us, I can hear the wheels on the cart rolling down the aisle and say that's the Frito-Lay salesperson stocking the shelves. From the wheels. Oh, I'm like, Frito-Lay is in the next aisle over. And we go over there, I'm like, I told you. Crazy what's in my brain, for real. Just like, but I don't flip the trucks off no more because there was a point the truck drive past. I'm like, Nola like, that truck didn't do nothing to you. I'm like, I had 300 of them trucks. I hate them damn trucks. Oh, always breaking down, costing money. So anyway, I've lived a life of many, many people in these 52 years. I will be back tomorrow. Let me tell y'all. Oh no, tomorrow's Wire Wednesday. So we are doing the what if questions tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. So I will be back on TikTok tomorrow, God willing, higher power in the universe at 4 a.m. Back here at 5:30 a.m. Nola and I are live on Fridays at 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time, talking about real life and what it means to use these principles even when it's your hard-headed child. She told me to stop saying that. My best student. I will be going co-hosting live on Friday with my best student ever. Yes, my amazing offspring. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you go off and have a wonderful Tuesday. Use your brain. Kevin, go get your crayons. I think they got one bigger than the 64, so go get the real one with the sharpener in the back. Get you a nice big coloring book, one of maybe your favorite superhero, and then just sit down and color a whole photo. And perhaps post it on social media and let everybody know I hate coloring. And then color. Here go Dr. Donna, making me do some more shit I don't want to do. Yep. Well, she is the empowerer. That's what I do. All right. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. I will be back tomorrow, God willing, higher power in the universe. Same time, same place, safe space, different brain t-shirt. You all go off and have a brain-tastic day. Take care.